Result: on balance, the benefits of genetically modified foods outweigh the harms. My partner and I negate the resolution. The OED defines on balance as a comparative reckoning taking everything into consideration. Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines benefit as a good or helpful result or effect. According to OED, one possible definition for harm can be an injury or loss. We present the following contentions. Contention 1. GM crops do not provide additional nutrients. Subpoint A. GM soy had 12.14% lower levels of cancer-fighting isoflavones than non-GM soy. Canola, engineered to contain vitamin A in its oil, had much reduced vitamin E and an altered oil fat composition compared with the non-GM control. Experimental GM rice varieties had unintended major nutritional disturbances compared with the non-GM counterparts, although they were grown side by side in the same conditions. The structure and texture of the GM rice was affected, and its nutritional content and value was dramatically altered. GM rice varieties variously showed markedly decreased levels of vitamin E, protein, and amino acids. The author said that their findings providing alarming information with regards to the nutritional value of transgenic rice and showed that GM rice was not substantially equivalent to non-GM. Subpoint B. A new article published by the Food Chemistry Journal provides scientific evidence that FDA's claim that genetically engineered crops are substantially equivalent to traditional crops is false. The study analyzes 3 groups of soybean samples, and results show that the organic soybeans had the healthiest nutritional profile and less saturated fat than the conventional and GMO soybeans. In addition to being less nutritious, the GMO soybeans also contained significant levels of glyphosate and AMPA. AMPA, the chemical compound that glyphosate breaks down into, is even more toxic than glyphosate itself. And while the residue levels were below the EPA's tolerance levels, they were dramatically higher than levels shown to cause severe harm to beneficial microorganisms that are needed in the digestive tracts of both livestock and humans. The findings of this study directly contradict FDA's 1992 claim that GMO crops are substantially equivalent to non-GMO crops. That crucial false finding by the FDA led to the agency abandoning its responsibility to American consumers to determine whether GMO foods are safe or not. This study also reveals that many of the studies on glyphosate resistance or Roundup Ready GMO crops have been deeply flawed, since they have looked at the crop by itself and not as it is typically grown with multiple applications of glyphosate. Contention 2. GM foods are harmful to human health. Subpoint A. A study conducted in Canada detected significant levels of insecticidal protein circulating in the blood of pregnant women and in the blood supply of their fetuses, as well as in the blood of non-pregnant women. Nevertheless, this study raises questions as to why GMBT crops are being commercialized widely when existing research raises serious concerns about their safety, and yet no systematic effort is underway to replicate and thereby assess the validity of that research. Subpoint B. In a study on human volunteers fed a single GM soybean meal, GM DNA survived processing and was detected in the digestive tract. There was evidence of the horizontal gene transfer to gut bacteria, and this was collected from the Earth's open source. Subpoint C. GM foods cause more allergies. Soy allergies jumped 50% in the UK just after GM soybean was introduced. If GM soy was the cause, it may be due to several things. The GM protein that makes up Roundup Ready soy, resistant to the herbicide, does not have a history of safe use in humans and may be an allergen. In fact, sections of the amino acid sequence are identical to known allergens. There is at least one protein in natural soybeans that has a cross-reactivity with peanut allergies. That means that for some people who are allergic to peanuts, consuming soybeans may trigger a reaction. While it is certainly possible that the unpredicted side effects from genetically engineering soybeans might increase the incidence of this cross-reactivity, it is unlikely that any research has been conducted to investigate this. For all of these reasons and more, I urge a con ballot.
Okay, 4 minutes, 4 seconds.